Hello. Give me 1 second. Just gotta fix something. All right, let me fix this real quick. Okay, I can't fix it. Anyways, hi guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. So, we're going to be doing episode 19 of the Soul Sanctuary podcast. Whew. This one, today's episode is going to be a very, very interesting episode. We're going to be doing the Dear Emmie series. So, you guys have heard me talking about the Dear Emmie series for, I don't know, quite some time now. Once in a while, we're going to be doing the Dear Emmie series. And this is where I take the question submissions that you guys send in and I go ahead and read them while we're live. And as I go over the questions, it's my hope that the opinions I give create some type of clarity, first for the person who asked the question, secondly, for the people who are going through the same type of situation. Okay. So, the purpose of the Dear Emmie series really has a lot to do with recognizing so many of us go through the same type of lessons at the same time. The people we go through these lessons with are often different because, we know different people, but the lessons themselves have a tendency to be the same. So let us if you would like to see what our current projects are for the Soulwork Synergistic group, you can go to soulworksynergistics.com/projects. This is where everything that we are currently working on that you could either participate in, support, excuse me, donate to, or whatever it is, it's going to be on this page. Everything is listed right there. If you would like to submit a question to the Dear Emmie series, you go to soulworksynergistics.com/dear-Emmie. All right. So I want to know, where are you guys watching from? Oftentimes the audience will shift a little bit. Some people will be too busy to watch while I'm live. Other people will have just barely stumbled across my channel. And I'm always curious, where are you guys watching from? Where are these words and opinions of mine reaching? So if you could take a moment, go ahead and comment where you're watching from, either where you are originally from or where you currently are watching from. I move often, and so my answer will always change. It's always changing. Ooh, okay. Miss Lisa over here is from Wisconsin. Wauwatosa? Excuse me. Is that how you pronounce it? Wauwatosa? Okay. I don't know. Maybe. Yes. Universal D is from Georgia. We have Australia in the house. I got some love for Australia. Tennessee, Mexico. I love Mexico. I really, really do. Everyone, when I traveled to Mexico years ago, everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's so dangerous. Don't go." Oh, it was the most beautiful experience. We didn't go to any resorts. We stayed with all the locals. It was beautiful. I love, love, love Mexico. Sherry's from Florida. Ooh, we have Canada. Arizona. I love this. I love this. We have another Georgia person. Hello, Ocean. Arkansas. More Mexico. I love this. Whew. Ooh, Diana's originally from Michigan, but now in Florida. Hey, Mary. Mary's from Texas. Desiree is from South Africa. We are from all over. And I love this. I love that we can come together and have all of these different histories, come from so many different regions, and still have this common ground of mutual respect, a place where we can hear each other's words and offer a sacred space to kind of just come together. It's beautiful. All right, let's get started, guys. So, excuse me. Again, I just want to show you guys just a quick little reminder. Oh, we already asked that. If you would like to submit a question for a future episode of Dear Emmie, you just go to soulworksynergistics.com/dear-Emmie. Okay. All right. So the first question, excuse me, this was submitted by someone anonymous, and you can either have your name said or you can select to be anonymous. Okay. So the question is, a witch offered to help my ex get me back by offering a love spell. Okay. There's limited space on the screen, so I could only put a portion of their question. I'll read the entire question. I've always lived with anxiety, but oh, no, wrong one. Let me open my notes. All right. So I found out on the 24th that a witch offered to help my ex get me back by offering a love spell. I don't know that much about witches. I did look some information up online about them. I don't think my ex took the offer because of their beliefs, but not sure why a witch would offer such a thing. I can tell you why. The back of my mind, I feel a conversation between my ex's relative might have occurred to where the witch was involved. Not sure. I do wonder if a witch is told no, would they listen or feel the need to help my ex anyway? I do apologize for asking this question in the first time. Oh, for asking the question. This is the first time I'm reaching out for any assistance about this subject matter. All right. So many of us have experienced the tampering of our free will, of our destiny, of our love life. So many different types of tampering, magical tampering, where people will involve themselves in our situation. And it kind of leaves the question of why, right? I've never interacted with you. Why are you involving yourself? Why are you taking away my free will? First and foremost, not everyone carries the same level of integrity. Okay. Not everyone carries the same level of integrity. It's very important that you recognize and accept, just because you wouldn't involve yourself in a situation that does not naturally involve you does not mean other people carry that same level of integrity. Okay. Oftentimes, there will be people who will learn magical practice. Not everyone, okay? Not everyone. But there are people who will learn magical practices in order to be able to offer them as services. Okay. There are some people who are interested in doing this type of work because they've felt weak, disempowered through their life, and this is a way for them to feel empowered. And excuse me, they're offering this type of service at minimal or zero cost simply because it makes them feel powerful. Okay. That's first and foremost. Now, the whole concept of a love spell is a true violation of your sovereign free will. It is a true violation of sovereignty. And sometimes, people don't realize this and they kind of just want what they want at whatever cost that needs to be paid, whether it's monetary, whether it's a karmic cost, so many different things. What do we do? How can we tell? Well, there are certain symptoms. There are quite a few different things that can occur when someone has performed magical spells on you. Um, you could try doing a cleansing on yourself. You could try finding prayers and things like that. There's the egg cleansing. So many different things you can try on your own. One of the main things that I recognize that I see often when a spell has been done on someone else, um, it's kind of like their free will has been taken. They don't understand, excuse me, they don't understand why they cannot leave this person alone. They don't understand why um, they're tolerating so much. Why is this person the way they are? Why are they so obsessed with me? A few other things is like a lot of the things that you have planned for yourself, it kind of falls through. Okay. It seems like you suddenly have bad luck. You keep losing your things. Maybe your pet is suddenly very, very sick. I know one of the telltale signs that I recognize, and this is why I have so many plants in the house. Um, excuse me. If you've bonded with your plants, a lot of your energy lives in the plants at this point, right? Because I bless the water before I give it to my plants. So that's a lot of my energy running through their roots, through all of their systems, the soil, all of that. When someone tries to do magical work on me, it's usually really malignant magical work, less a love spell, more like we want to kill Emmy. And I can laugh about it because it's just stupid to me. And what ends up happening is my plants will get sick and some will die. Okay. Some will die. There are some plants that I keep that are not my favorite plants. Like these plants behind me, these are not my favorite plants. They are just plants that can absorb quite a bit. If you start seeing their leaves turning brown, no matter how much I'm watering them, like they're sick, they're about to die, chances are they took the hit for me. That's why there's plants in the room when I live stream. Okay. That's one of the things that you can kind of do to see. And I understand not a lot of people have a green thumb. That's okay. That's okay. You can do the egg cleansing where you take a raw egg and you rub it all over your body like really, really well. And it's said that the malignant intentions will enter the egg. And when you're done rubbing it all over yourself, the egg, the raw egg still in its shell, you crack it open and, put the egg contents into like a cup of water, and you'll be able to see based on how it presents itself, the bubbles, the strings, things like that. And you can find all this information online. It'll kind of give you an idea, an idea of whether or not someone's malignant, malicious intent has actually entered into your life. One of the best ways to prevent any of this from happening is to be very, very careful with your energy, to recall all your energy back to you before you part ways with anyone. Okay. This also involves making sure all of your personal belongings are inaccessible to the individual. Um, it also involves not allowing yourself to occupy a space that is not sealed. So wherever you move to, um, you would need to make sure that you seal that place. Uh, I will be offering a Black Magic Revocation course for the people who are in my Soul Sanctuary private area. Um, these are the people who join me for the exclusive chats after the podcast. If you weren't there for the last exclusive chat we had, I'm going to be offering that soon, as well as the private crystal auction. If you want to be a part of that, you have to be a member of the chat. You have to be part of that private area. And you can sign up on the Soul Sanctuary love. We are still having an issue with our processor, so we haven't been able to accept new members. So, it's a private area. But yeah, like would a person, I don't want to say a witch simply because we don't want to lump all of these people all in the same category. They might have similar magical practices, similar capabilities, but they don't have all the same level of integrity or lack thereof. Okay. Would a magical person still be able to do this energetic work, magical work, if they're not hired to? It depends. It depends on their capability. Some people can do it with or without consent. It takes a specific type of ability, but it is something that can happen. Okay, it can definitely happen. It just depends on the person's um, level of integrity. I've had people who they would do it anyways because they feel like, well, you just don't know any better, so I'm going to do it for you. They're going to do it for you because they think that you're incapable of deciding things for yourself and you're letting someone get away with something that they don't like. And so they'll just do it anyways, free of charge this time. There's people that exist who are like that, you know? Um, you really need to make sure you know how to work your energy. You really need to make sure you know how to protect yourself, how to make sure that your auric shields are in proper working order. You need to know how to maintain your energetic health. This is part of the reason why I'm offering the morphogenetic fundamentals workshop. That's the basics of how to maintain your auric space. Okay. If there's a need to maintain your auric space, like right now, excuse me, there's an individual watching watching me live right now. They think that just because they haven't entered into the actual live stream, that I'm not going to detect who they are. And I can tell what they're doing. Not because it's working, but because I've taught myself how to be extra aware of what's being attempted. You're scared all of a sudden. I know exactly what you're doing. You're trying to breach my crown and third eye. You're hoping you'll be able to turn off my abilities. Honey, I tried for several years and I was not successful. And they're my abilities. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be successful either. I'm pretty sure of it. I'll be your teacher today. There's a way for you to return things to the people who send things to you. It's the equivalent of receiving a package that you didn't order and not accepting that delivery. Some people call it return to sender. I call it refusing the delivery. I don't care where it goes. I really don't. I don't care if it goes up your nose. I don't care if it goes down your throat. I don't care where it goes. People will try and violate your sovereign free will. But when you learn enough about yourself, you begin to understand no one really can violate your free will without your consent. Whether it's passive permission or full on overt consent, no one can do that to you. So, how should I give this energy back? What should I do about it? Well, I'm for sure not going to allow any of my energy to be commingled with that. My energy is very sacred. Not very many people would be worthy of receiving my energy in that way. So, what should I do? I know. A lot of things try and track my energy. Things, whether they're beings or people or whatever it is, they try and track my energy and they have malignant intentions towards me. You want my energy so bad? Slathering it all over your auric shield right now. To you who's working with 2 others to try and harm me right now, I'm applying it on all of your auric shields. Let's see how powerful you really are. It's easy to attack other people, especially when you're hidden. It takes someone truly powerful to be able to consistently defend your space with the type of onslaught that I receive day in and day out. Let's see how powerful you are. I'm now going to remove the cloak on my energy. They're tracking. They've arrived. I'm amplifying my energy on your shield. They're calling more in. Fortunately for you, you didn't know any better. You have no encryption installed in the base of your skull, back of your neck. They're severing you from your Christ consciousness right now. That sensation you feel in your low back, they're breaching your kundalini. 2 inches below your belly button, that gurgly feeling, they're breaching one of your star seals. They're about to access your entire field. You can book a session with me by going to emmieevolving.com. You're going to need a series of 10 2M extractions. They're going for your mitochondria now. Whatever latent abilities you're not even aware of yet, they're tearing it apart. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Do you see now? Do you understand now? You're nowhere near as strong as you thought. You see that? You feel that? If I were you, I wouldn't sleep. Not because I would do something to you, but because that's where they're going to torment you. Like I said, you can book a session for me to correct what you did to yourself. Emmieevolving.com. You would need no less than 10 2M extractions. This is an expensive lesson for you to learn. Very expensive lesson for you to learn. And as far as I know, and I know quite a bit, I'm the only one that can remove 2M so far. Yeah, that sucks for you. Very expensive lesson for you to learn. And when you go to book that session for me to correct it, if you can find the courage to do that and face me, um, I'm going to know exactly who did this to you. I'm going to know exactly. I've cataloged your energy, all 3 of you. Yeah. You see that? Zero, zero, zero willingness on my end to allow any of that in. 0. Not even passive. Did I have to do anything? Did I have to do anything? Did I even need to return to sender? No. I have a full understanding of my energy, what haunts the outside of my field. Yes, haunt. They try to haunt the outside of my field. I'm not a child anymore. Ghost stories don't scare me. Demonic things don't scare me. It just doesn't. But everyone needs to witness. I don't need to be apologetic for giving them what they want. You want my energy? There you go. Nice thick coating across the outside of your auric shield. You wanted it so bad. There you go. And now you get to experience what's tried on me day in and day out. That doesn't even bother me anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore. Why? That's not part of my destiny. That's not part of what I'm here to experience. Maybe the beginning portions in my early childhood, I needed to experience that type of fear, right? And why would I need to experience that type of fear? Well, trauma induced secretions. And we'll go over that sometime. And we'll go over that in a future podcast. I'll talk about trauma induced secretion and how that furthers your ascension mechanics. What should you guys do if people attempt magical malignancy with you? You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be afraid. It's very normal, very natural to feel very angry and very afraid. Push beyond that. Allow yourself to enter into a space where you know I'm not allowing this. I'm not allowing this. Let's make an analogy. If someone entered your home without your consent, is that okay? Because your auric field is where you live. Is it okay? Would you do nothing if someone tried to enter your home? If they broke down your door, or if they undid your lock, unlocked it, and entered? That wouldn't be okay with me. And I wouldn't just tell you, you can't enter. How would I greet that? With the appropriate level of force. Why is my home the worst home you could possibly try a breaking and entry to? I am properly trained in the proper and safe handling of self-defense weaponry. I know how to defend my home. I will first defend my home and then I'll call the police after. If I have the luxury of calling the police while I'm defending my home, of course, yes. First and foremost, you will not take another step in. You have to begin having that type of mindset. You have to begin allowing yourself to learn how to properly harness your energy. You have to. I was talking to a really good friend recently, and she was talking about like washing the walls and this and that. There's like, energetic stuff that's going on. And I was telling her, um, if I am allowed to teach her young daughter how to work energy, because she has very similar energy to me, the young daughter. Um, by the time I'm done teaching her, she will have claimed the entire house and there will be no need to cleanse any walls. The thing that happens within houses, even within your body, um, so drywall, it's made of gypsum. Gypsum is a type of stone, right? It's pulverized, it's turned into sheets, and then it's covered with paper, and that's what drywall is. Gypsum is very similar in chemical composition to selenite. Selenite is so easy to program. Any intense emotions you feel while in your home, that gets programmed into the walls. Eventually, that program will fade away if you don't experience trauma like that often. It will fade away. If you experience it in a more regular type fashion, you're consistently arguing with your other half. There's consistently traumas, consistently this, consistently that, all negative things that gets embedded into the walls. It programs the house will remember. Not many people are allowed into my home, like wherever I'm living, physically living. Not many people are allowed in. Okay. What I hear from the very few people who are able to enter the property I occupy, um, they'll notice how the energy shifts. It's something that's palpable. I even asked my friends' kids because they came to visit. I asked my friends' kids, like, "Did you notice a difference when you walked into the house?" And they're like, "Yeah." "Did it feel peaceful?" "Yeah." "I program my walls with peace and protection." Can you really, truly, truly feel peaceful if you have no peace? If you feel unprotected? No, the walls are programmed. So, one of the two youngest, I went into this office to get something, and the youngest thought that I was his mom. He's like, "Mommy," and I came right back out, and I'm like, "What's up, buddy?" And he thought I was his mom. And he goes, "Where did you go?" And so I opened my closet, my not my closet. I sometimes live stream in a closet. My office. Oh, the secret's out. I sometimes live stream in a closet. um, I my office doors are two French doors with glass. And I said, "Do you want to look in?" Because he seems super curious. And so I opened the doors and I let him look in, and he came all the way inside this office. He goes, "I thought you went to some other place." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's looking around and he's confused because it's just a regular room. He's like, "But I thought this was a completely different place." And I was like, "You, it feels like it's different? Like you went somewhere else?" He goes, "Yes." And then his sister, who's just a little bit older than him, she was standing at the door. And I was like, "Do you feel that energy as well?" She says, "Yes." And I asked her, "Does it feel like it's a different place?" She goes, "Yes." And I asked her, "Does it feel like it's a good different place?" She goes, I was like, "You can go in if you want." She's like, "No." She doesn't want to be transported to a different place. So the selenite, the gypsum, similar to selenite, can be easily programmed. Um, you can program your home to be a defensive structure. You can program a lot of different things into what you need it to be. Your body has a lot of liquid inside it. It's something like you're 70% water or something like that. I don't remember anymore. But you can program water. You can program your entire body, excuse me, to not allow any of this in. But it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. How much are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you willing to invest the time and the energy? Some people want a quick fix. They want someone else to fix it. They don't wanna learn how to do it themselves. They don't believe in themselves, all of these different things, and when you have that type of mindset, it creates porosity. It makes your auric shield porous. That means it's a lot easier for things to enter, whether it's someone else's magical intentions or whatnot, it makes it a lot easier to enter, okay? However far you're going to allow that to enter in, that's how far it's going to enter in. you know? These people who were trying, they didn't even breach my buffer zone. They didn't even breach my external shield. They didn't enter whatsoever. Whatsoever. You have to make sure you do not give any type of permission to something you don't want to give permission to. And that's just how it has to be. Now, if you need help with removing an actual spell, you can find that on my website. It's the Black Magic Revocation. Okay. If you would like to be part of a Black Magic Revocation program, I'm going to be teaching the people who are part of my private ministry area how to do that. Okay. How to negate a lot of that dark intention. A lot of people don't realize that there's been a lot of things that have been being tried on you for quite some time. It's very, very common. Very, very common. And when you allow yourself to become more familiar with energy, you become that much braver when it comes to other people trying to enter your space. Okay. There are those who will try really, really hard to violate your personal space. There are those. You have to be careful about that. Um, let's see. Here. Next question. I've always lived with anxiety, but recently my family member was given a diagnosis of a health concern. I don't know how to separate my feelings from hers and to stop transference from her to me and from me to my pet. All right. That's a very good question. This as well ties into the self maintenance. We have apartheid filters on the outermost portion of your auric shield. And these are the very filters that filter out other people's experiences. Now, if the family member is an immediate family member, the filters are calibrated to let more of that experience in. If it's a sibling, it's not as porous as if a parent is experiencing it and you're pulling it in. Empaths have a tendency to have their apartheid filters be calibrated in a way that allows them to experience the emotions, sensations, experiences of other people. At the end of the day, when all is said and done with this life, we do come from one source. We are made of the same thing. We will return back to the same place. The apartheid filters are the very thing that gives us the sense, the experience of an individuated life, right? So when you learn how to modify your filters, you'll be able to filter some of that out. Now, for some empaths, when you're allowing this experience in, you're not just allowing the experience, the sensations, the emotions, the thoughts. For some, if you're sensitive enough and if you have enough of, um, I guess you could call it a gift, um, you'll also be pulling in that disease. So you have to be very, very careful. Okay. I remember being a young child and my mother had a lot of health things going on, much of my life. She had a lot of health things going on. She wasn't exactly the healthiest because she worked so much, right? So high blood pressure, all kind of different things. And and distinctly remember I was already an adult and I already lived in my own place, had my own family. And what had happened was she wasn't feeling very well, so she came to my house, which is fine. This is my mom. That's fine. And she was asking me to massage her, and okay, that's fine too. It's my mom. And I remember this comment that she made. She said it always makes her feel better when I work on her. but I notice it always makes me feel sick. I pull in all of her symptoms. I told her that. That was the day I told her that. Like, I can't massage you because I end up pulling in your sickness. She's, but I feel better. I'm like, yeah, but I don't. And at that time, I'm already a stay at home mom. I have a whole bunch of kids. And so I have to be functional in order to take care of my kids. We don't do babysitters. We don't do any of that. We don't have that luxury. Yes, that's what I said. It's a luxury to be able to have a babysitter. Okay. For me and my family, that's a luxury. Anything my children need, I take care of, or my husband takes care of. We're very self contained. And so I had told her that. And then I realized um, she didn't really, she didn't feel bothered that I was taking in her illness. She was amused that I was able to, and she felt better. And so that's when I was like, yeah, no more. No more. If you don't care if your sick energy is affecting your daughter, I don't need to care that you're not feeling very well. The best I'm going to be able to do for you is call 911 if you need it. But aside from that, no more. No more. Okay. These are things that tie into boundaries, and many empaths, which most of you are empathic, if not all of you, most of you, many empaths struggle with boundaries. We struggle with being able to say no. We struggle with, communicating that, hey, your need violates my health. Your preference violates my need, right? So you have to be able to really just separate. Um, there's been times where family has accused me of being cold-hearted because I can be very sterile in my approach when it comes to an issue. Sterile, like how a doctor will approach a sick patient. Now, unless you've developed some type of bond with that doctor, they keep that buffer zone up and running. You are a patient, you are a case study, they don't necessarily see you as a human being. This is just, they're treating a condition and that's how they have to see it. A lot of doctors and nurses, especially nurses, um, they end up becoming the sickest of the sick because they're constantly pulling in other people's illnesses. You can only be sterile for so long before you begin to feel like, you know, oh my gosh, this poor person, or that type of thing. So if for whoever asked this question, um if you have the capacity to be more like a doctor and separate yourself from the emotion, that will work out beautifully for you. If my hair is crazy, if you don't have that capacity, um it's going to be important for you to learn how to really maneuver your energy, how to harness it, how to use it intentionally. So, if you would like to be a part of the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop, there's still a little bit of time and there's still a couple of seats left. I do have two options to join that workshop. The first one is just a ticket to enter, which that alone is really profound. And it's limited seating, guys. I want to keep the numbers small. Um, so there's that option where you just come to the workshop. It's a, I believe, 4.5 hour workshop. And then the second option is an enhanced workshop experience. With this option, not only will you be able to attend the workshop and learn all of these things that are important, that are crucial for you to harness your energy efficiently. You'll also be receiving quite a few different activations. And these different activations, it's a lot. It's a lot. I did discuss it with my private group. I didn't really put too much emphasis on the enhanced portion simply because I want you to just be drawn to it or not. That's up to you, right? Thank you, Lindsay. This is the link for the workshop. And with that, everyone that attends, you will also receive um, an activation of a structure that will help you to bypass the restrictions that currently exist within your energetic field. With my system, what I teach you to do is to be able to tap into 12th dimensional frequencies or higher. That's the base level, 12th dimensional frequencies or higher. When you're tapping into 12D, you're accessing your morphogenetic blueprint before any distortions occur. So you'll be able to do core corrective codes, correct those codes and everything. Ashley, I don't remember the exact price, but if you go to that link, k33academy.com/store/morphogenetic fund. Well, that's a long ass link. Oh, dang. You'll be able to see the price. Oh, shoot. Wow. That's a long link. I didn't realize that it completely copied all of that. But yeah, it's a very, very important set of information that will be taught there. We're going to be talking about your shielding, self maintenance, chakras, all of that. All of that. These are all very core level type um, tidbits of information. Okay. This makes it possible for you to really be able to recalibrate yourself, your perception, all of that. All of this information that I'll cover there is super, super empowering. Super empowering. So for this person, um, you would need to recalibrate the apartheid filters. You would need to make sure there's this exercise that I teach sometimes, burning ball purge. If you've heard of that before, if you've taken some other class of mine, and I've taught that, that's definitely a good thing to use. Um, you would need to probably consider a rolling encryption, um, work on chords, because family has a tendency to have chords that exist between you and them, um, especially if it's a parent. So there would need to be some different types of chord work that you're going to do. I mean, I'm definitely willing and capable of doing this for you guys, but really though, this is bad business practice for me, but I don't care. It's so much more important for you to be able to do this for yourself. That's the reality of it. Why keep paying for sessions when you can use those same funds to learn how to do it for yourself and become empowered in your life? I mean, that's so much healthier for you to be able to do it for yourself. Part of the reason you don't feel empowered in your life is because you keep seeking external assistance. For certain things, external assistance is necessary. Okay. If your situation is that severe, please reach out, book a session. It's okay to ask for help. But when you find yourself consistently just asking other people to do these things for you that you can learn to do for yourself, you're not serving yourself. You're not helping yourself learn how powerful you actually are. And that's part of being a sovereign, understanding your power, not just your purpose and what you can do for other people, but what you can also do for yourself. Okay. So, oftentimes when we pull in energy from other people, it will affect the things that we love. It will. In this case, it's affecting the pet. Okay. And that's hard if your pet gets sick and ends up with some type of terminal illness, and then you're going to blame yourself. And no, don't do that. Instead, focus your energy and your time on learning how to properly harness your energy and using that knowledge to really stabilize yourself in your life. There's no reason why you can't be there for your family member, just like there's no reason that you can justify the pulling in of whatever that disease is, whatever that health concern is, and making it your own. A lot of the health concerns that we develop have a lot to do with the things that are left unprocessed. Has a lot to do with learning. And when we take away people's experiences because we don't want them to hurt, we don't want them to this, we don't want them to that, you're taking away their opportunity to learn a very, very profound thing. That's not love. You might be doing it from a place of love, but robbing someone of that opportunity, that opportunity to learn, that's not love. Okay. That's a very fear based type of maneuvering. And so a lot of deep conversations. Um, I think it might be healthier to just hold space for them and view it as like, a friend is going through something and you're just letting them vent. That would be a healthy way to do it if you can just listen to them vent and not take in their pain. If you're the type to take in their pain, you definitely need to learn how to very, very efficiently do shielding work, cord work, cleansing work, chakra work, recalibration work, just a lot, a lot. Because I'm pretty sure you don't stop at just family. For people who do that, who have the capacity to do that, they tend to be people who bleed for others consistently. You know, it's hard. It's hard. So it's just one of those things where you're going to have to learn to work the energy rather than create buffer zones and hope, hope or try and avoid because really, I mean, unless you plan on isolating yourself for your whole life, I don't think that's going to be really something that's feasible. Like avoidance. I don't think that's going to be feasible at all. It might work for a short period, but I think once you allow yourself to start feeling again, that's gonna be a massive, like, boom, and you're probably gonna end up getting sick. Um, ooh, nice, ocean lover. She says, "I used K33 CP techniques as a precaution just a few days ago. So great for energetic maintenance, protection, defense, and harnessing." So K33 CP is my certification program. There are still single digit number of seats available for that. It will be starting in June of this year. This is for level 1 K33 certification program. In level 1, you don't need any experience of anything at all. Anything at all. So it's going to be my third cycle. My first 2 cycles um, gosh, I'm gonna cry. I'm so proud of them. It's ridiculous how proud I am of them. Uh, we turned out some badasses, like absolute badasses who I know not only can they work energy for themselves, not only will they have um, the ability to do this for other people or already have it actually, they also have tapped into a reserve of power that is just so profound. So profound. Like just profound. I need to bring some of my students up at some point so that they can go ahead and show you guys. I think it's important. I've been toying with the idea for some time now, and I know they're shy. They're just like, I'm shy. I'd be shy too, but it's time for the world to see that this academy, the K33 Academy, is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. It is an absolute badass academy. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a few programs running. The K33 CP, it's a certification program. I am teaching you over the course of 40 hours. It's usually more, to be honest. We end up going really in depth. Over the course of 40 hours, you will learn how to work on clients. Now, my system is very different because you're harnessing frequencies that are so high, like so high. And so that brings in a lot of parasitic things. You will get a lot of attention energetically. And that's why there's such a heavy, heavy emphasis on self defense, spiritual warfare, and being able to defend your client. Okay. For me, it's very, very important that you are able to defend the space you work in. That's like huge for me, huge. And so, you know, it's one of those things where I put a heavy emphasis on it when I'm teaching level 1 of the certification program. There's other levels that will be coming up soon, but yeah, it's an amazing, amazing program. Like I can't emphasize that enough. And then I have a weekly Kokoro 33 membership. And with that, I teach basically, it's just an ongoing program. And I teach whatever the energies are going to be in that time period, right? So sometimes when there's been occasions where it was like Mercury retrograde, and my soul instructed me to teach about Mercury retrograde. I don't always do it based on like lunar solar events or planetary alignments or whatever. I don't always do that. It's really what's happening with the energies so that you'll learn how to be able to mitigate all of that. And it's an ongoing program. To date, I want to say like for sure over 100 lessons that are archived. Eventually, you get access to all of that. Just a lot of lessons, a lot of lessons, and we go over so many different things. So many different things. Excuse me. So that's one of the things that you can do, and that program's been going for over 4 years. Okay. Um, and then I do have like certain workshops and whatnot that I teach here and there whenever soul kind of guides me to offer a new workshop. I teach the workshop. Um, the thing with my workshops, I typically only offer them once. So if you see a workshop that I'm offering and you like it, you're like really drawn to it and you want to learn whatever that content is, it would really, really suit you and your interest to make sure you attend that workshop because the chances of me offering it again is slim to none. It's honestly slim to none, you know? So just, make sure. Um, let's see. We have one more question that I wanted to go over. Let's see here. This is from Lucy. I've been working and listening to you for a while. I've changed my thinking on many ways. And in the process, I've cut a lot of people out and minimized my contact with others. But I find I'm alone and I feel disconnected at times. Um, so it cuts off. Let me read the rest of it. I'm a single mom with two adult kids and find myself with a lot of alone time. I work full time and have a fairly active lifestyle in that I am into hiking and living well. So that's good. First and foremost, having an active, healthy lifestyle is amazing. That's best thing you could do for yourself. What it sounds like to me, Lucy, is that you're going through a cycle of trauma induced accretion. Well, no, not trauma induced accretion, ascension mechanics. It can sometimes involve trauma induced accretion, but oftentimes it will just be this period where you find that suddenly you're pretty alone. Like, wow, everyone kind of just disappeared in my life. And then you'll find that the people who are still left, the very few, you kind of can't relate to them very well at this point. Um, like you have different mindsets than they have at this point. You're interested in different things. They're still focused on maybe subject matter that seems petty to you, things like that. Okay, this is part of the ascension mechanics. When you go through the first major ascension cycle, you end up going through this. I have not met a single person in the thousands of clients that I've had over the years, not a single one has foregone this experience. Whenever you hit that first massive ascension cycle, you will find that quite a few people in your life have gone quiet or have completely disappeared. It's not necessarily that something's wrong with you. It's that distractions are being taken away. They're being removed. Empaths have a tendency to distract ourselves with the people in our lives. We have a tendency to make other people's problems our own. Okay. And typically that's so that we don't have to work on our own stuff. And we do that a lot. Um, and, you know, life has a way of removing people who are kind of serving as a distraction. It might be people who we can absolutely justify being being distracted by them. I'm sorry. Do you guys feel that? Let me just drink something. Mm, that's an amazing energy. Anywho, one of the best things you can do during this type of period is really free yourself to learn as much as possible. Not force it, but to see every single circumstance um, as an opportunity to learn something even deeper about yourself, about your environment, about the people in your life, all of that. Okay. Um, since you already have a pretty healthy lifestyle, I would continue with that. When you go through the ascension mechanics, the more healthy muscle mass that you have, the less you are likely to experience full chakra blowout. Okay. Um, when we allow the distractions to be removed, the opportunity for all of our energy to go towards um, recalibration and reprogramming of our surface templates, it will greatly diminish the potentiality of energetic injury. A lot of people who weren't able to clear the distractions, people who don't have the healthiest lifestyle, who eat foods that are not compatible, people who don't exercise regularly. I'm all of that right now. I'm not even judging you. I'm saying this as a member of that group right now. We have a tendency to injure our chakras as we go through this ascension process. So, what does that look like? Well, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, leaky gut, hyperpermeable bowel, all sorts of different type of health struggles. Those have a tendency to be heavily tied to that dysfunctional chakra. Okay. When you blow out that chakra and that chakra sits for prolonged periods, excuse me, um, it affects the function of that region of your body. It just does. Depending on the severity of that, depending on your willingness to clear it or even acknowledge it, right? Because some of us don't even want to acknowledge. Um, that's what's going to determine the gravity of the way you experience the symptomatic presentation. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay. But Lucy, it sounds like you're going through a massive ascension cycle. It sounds like you're well into it because if most people have kind of just been cleared away, you've probably been pretty focused on quite a bit of introspection, right? And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But you have to be aware of what process you're in. There's so many different sources online where you can find information on chakras, chakra health, on ascension mechanics, things like that. Be very careful about what you take in as absolute truth, though. Okay. A lot of the different things that are written sounds like absolute truth, but it's actually not. Um, for example, chakras. You will see like 99.999999999% of the spiritual content on chakras, basically twisting your arm into maintaining your chakras, right? Uh, Healthy chakras are important. Are you aware that chakras are residual components of our once slave species status? It was to constrict the flow of energy through your auric field. It was to phase lock you, to prevent you from developing a level of awareness that would wake you up to the reality of the situation that you have been shoehorned into. That was the original intention of chakras, to withhold from you your birthright. That was the original intention of chakras. And then as we stepped down in density, became more of a physicality, the physical body. Um, the chakras were a way for the energies from the separated dimensional levels of consciousness to integrate into the body by way of the fascia. So it's a lot of information you can find online, but you know, use that information you find to help you form more questions so that you could seek out more answers. And at the end of the day, every day, kind of pick and choose what resonates and what kind of just sounds like regurgitation. Because a lot of the stuff you'll find is nothing but regurgitation from a tainted source. Toth is a tainted source. Toth. Yes. Toth. Toth is tainted. Tainted toth. Shoot. Oh, shoot. Tainted toth. You guys got to make sure. Don't even blindly accept what I say. Where the heck did I get my information from? Well, first and foremost, I tell you it wasn't online. First and foremost, it was not online. That's not where I get my information from. I get my information directly from the Akashic Records. And it's not the Akashic Records as you think it to be. Because of the type of soul that I have, the history of my soul, I have access to both the collective as well as the personal morphogenetic templates. I have access to information. Now, me accessing the information, I think I think I'm allowed to, simply because of the fact that I'm really not interested in using it to prove anything. I just want to understand. I'm like a child that just keeps asking why. It irks the heck out of Michael. it it irks, but why? And then why? But why? But then why would you do that? So the Akashic Records, it's not a library. Just so you guys are aware. If you are really truly accessing the Akashic Records, the truth of the records, it's not a library. Okay. Not trying to diminish anyone else's experience. You're accessing something. I don't know what it is because the Akashic Records is not a library. One of my most highly developed abilities is to be able to see things as they are, not how they are painted to be. There is a lot of emphasis during this period on disseminating tainted information. Okay. A lot of emphasis on that. We are reaching a critical mass point. We've already reached a certain type of critical mass where we're all 5D. Like these people who are trying to tell you, like, oh, we just need to get into 5D and blah, blah. We're all already there. We've been anchored there since 2016. Winter time of 2016. That's when we reached critical mass. Okay. Now that's for the energy portion. For the consciousness, the part of you that is like cognizant, um, that many of us have not yet reached. that realization. And so that's the next thing that's being worked on. And because that's the next thing that is being worked on, excuse me, there's a lot of information being disseminated, spread wide and far, that really is serving to encourage you to remain anchored into a false matrix. Hmm. Yes, false matrix. This is a death spiral. It's not the Fibonacci sequence where it's like, oh, it's ascension path. No, it's a death spiral. If you take a look at the one of the most widely known symbols in spirituality, the seed of life, that's the daisy of death. They shifted the angular rotation, that minor shift in angle positioning of those type of components. It actually severs your connection from your personal divinity. So you're not receiving as much of the energy. Once upon a time, we were self sustaining. We were able to correct any and all molecular compaction that leads to aging and eventually disease and death. These are the things they're teaching you. They're teaching you how to remain anchored in that false matrix, that false ascension path. When something wants to suck you in, that's a black hole. It feeds off of you. Because creation loves balance. If you have a black hole, the other side of that is a white hole. It pushes you. It pushes you to grow and learn, expand. Don't fall into black holes. Don't fall into this space of trying to prove that you're better than everyone else because of your ability to regurgitate information from tainted Toth. His information is tainted. He tried to steal the CDT plates. He tried to steal it and transcribe it so that he could usurp the power of creator. I don't know if you'll find information on this online. These come from my memory banks. And so what was done? He was allowed to believe he got the information, except it was tainted AF. It was tainted AF. And that's the basis of what most of spirituality talks about. Most of spirituality. Be careful. You can find a lot of information online, but just be careful. If it doesn't resonate, stop reading. Don't force yourself. Don't force yourself. As a matter of fact, what I encourage you to do, have conversations with your soul. And then your soul will tell you the different words, the different concepts. Look that up for confirmation to help you understand what your soul is talking about. And that's it. I don't get any of my information online. I just don't. The only time I go online to look things up is to prove that Michael's a liar. Yeah, I consistently tell him he's a liar. I'm like, you're a liar. That's not true. And then he tells me to look it up. And then I end up, the first thing that I find is the thing that he was sharing with me. Yes, Sherry, this is a lot of the program that's being run, the half truth program. She says it's harder to disprove half truths. It's finding yourself and finding the truths. When you recognize the programs that are being run, they contain just enough truth for you to be able to cling to it, but more than enough lie that it won't actually empower you. And then how can you prove that it's the truth or that it's a lie? It has enough truth for people to fight you vehemently. They'll defend it. That's why I don't try and prove anything to anyone. I'm kind of just like, you believe what you believe. I'm going to believe what I believe. And we can coexist. Coexistence is beautiful. Ooh, this is a good comment. Moonrock says, I found that if I start to get a headache when I'm reading info or watching, then it isn't good for me. Yes. Yes. That's quite possibly the best piece of advice that anyone could receive. That if it doesn't feel good, if you start to get uncomfortable, your eyes, headache, all of that, you should probably stop. You should probably stop reading. You should probably stop memorizing. You should probably stop whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. So, guys, does anyone want to ask me a question while live? The Dear Emmy question? Anyone at all? And while I'm waiting for someone to ask a question, I just want to show you guys one more time. Give you a little reminder. If you'd like to submit a question and be anonymous if you want, you can be. Go to soulworksynergistics.com /dear Emmy, and you could submit a question there. We're probably going to cover or do a Dear Emmy series at least once a month, maybe more, depending on how many questions we have coming in. These are just the first three. We do have quite a few questions already in. It doesn't hurt to have even more. So if you're going through something right now and you kind of want to have an idea or some clarity, you want to hear my opinion on it, write in, write in, and one of you could actually go ahead and have a question answered right now. So, any questions at all? um, Kavi, you want to ask a question? Kavi's like, who? Oh my god. I'm like, who? What do you mean? All right, guys. So, in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, in about 25 minutes, I'm going to be heading over to the private members area. We're going to do a private chat. If you would like to be part of that private members area, it's not actually a membership. What it is a recurring contribution. And that recurring contribution goes to my Soulwork Synergistics ministry. And because it's not a membership and it's a recurring contribution, it's tax deductible. Okay. All right. Oh, wow. All right. So, and you guys, um, the Dear Emmy series, it's not for a free reading, just so you guys are aware. Um, so Mary says, can you explain how twin flames are affected when your soul splits? Michael had me put this on the screen. I didn't realize it was a twin flame question. No, that's okay. We can answer it. So, can you explain how twin flames are affected when your soul splits? So, for some, because it's going to affect everyone differently, um, for some, there are different types of experiences that occur. The first type is that you become painfully aware of that split, that separation. It's like a forever weeping wound, right? It's a wound that just does not heal. It's something that will forever be uncomfortable. Um, it can cause you to feel very wary of other people. It can cause you to question people's intentions. For many, it can cause you to not be able to connect with others in a romantic sense. Like it's difficult for you to fall in love, to be in relationships, and, all of that, right? For others, they're not so aware that there's been a split. It's just a sense of discomfort. Um, with that, the souls aren't actually like split in half. You know what I mean? They're not actually divided. It's just this concept, like being a duality and the duality becoming aware of the opposing position. That's what twin flames are. They are one and the same, but they aren't actually split. It's a concept that is difficult, um, difficult to explain. Um, it's a concept that has led so many people to misidentify others because they're looking for this component. Um, okay, so I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. For one of my Michael says, really, for one of you. Anywho, okay, okay. For this person that I know, for this person that I know, um, before they were aware that I exist, we have lived in pretty much the same places, missing each other by maybe months. You know what I mean? Like I I don't know how to put it. um it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. Um we find ourselves in the same locations, but we didn't know each other existed. So we didn't know that we were looking for each other, right? And it was just one of those um, very thinly veiled levels of awareness. I remember, like, I think right before they finally came across my profile on Facebook, um, my profile I was a troll, you guys. I was a troll. It was set to Bangkok, Thailand, and my screen name was Bangkok Bunny because it was funny to me. But it was set to Bangkok, Thailand. And right before they came across my profile, um, they took a trip to Thailand, to Bangkok. They didn't know why. They didn't know why. And I was like, that's so weird. And I had asked, like, "Why did you go to Bangkok?" I was like, "Why did you go to Bangkok?" And like, I don't know. It's just it felt like I needed to find something there. I was like, "My bad." So something like that, you know. It's just kind of like this sense of you're looking for something. I don't necessarily think that they went to Bangkok looking for love, looking for something romantic. They just needed to go. I guess I don't remember fully how that conversation went, but I just remember like, oh, my profile is set to Bangkok. Yeah, and it was before they became aware of me, I think. So just things like that. This other person in my life, um, I distinctly remember because we were all still on MySpace, right? And I distinctly remember this feeling of like, I gotta find somebody. Like my life doesn't feel complete. I don't know what it is. I gotta find somebody. There's somebody important. I have to find them. I was already married. You know, I've only been married once. I was already married to my husband, and I knew it wasn't like I'm not looking for something romantic. And I already had our son, so I knew it wasn't like I want to have another baby. Um, but I just had this feeling like I have to find someone. It's like important. I feel this emptiness in my heart, and then next thing you know, someone reached out to me. They privately messaged me, and we're joking around and stuff. And we connected because they saw my work as a photographer. Excuse me, as a photographer and makeup artist, and they really loved that. And then we would joke around a lot, and they liked my sense of humor. And then we ended up becoming really close friends for a period. Um, and like she's come and stayed with us for a little bit here and there, visited and whatnot. And then I realized one day, like, oh my god, since you came into my life, the feeling that I needed to find something is gone. I think I was looking for you. That's what it was. I was looking for her. She's basically like family to me. And yeah, I haven't had that feeling again since. I haven't had that. This sense of like I have to look for something, I have to look for someone, I have to find someone. She was the only person. And wouldn't you believe she's one half of the soul that lived as Yeshua. I was like, "Oh my god, you're like a baby Jesus." She doesn't identify as that, but, she's aware, she doesn't self-identify as Jesus reincarnated, but she's definitely aware. I remember there were times where she would be like, "Oh, this part hurts," and blah, 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 and I'd be like, that's where the spear went through, right?" When when they and she's just like, "Here, just stop, just stop." Yeah, and the year that she was born was Easter. She was born on Easter Day. I'm like, "See, you totally came back." It irks her when I poke fun of her like that, but, it's just one of those things. I was aware of her existence and that longing to find someone went away, okay? It went away. So, sometimes that's what twins do. They're aware to some degree that, there's this component that needs to be found. Why that component needs to be found, I don't think they really know why. Just like wanting for something intangible to be placed in your hand. It's like that. I always know when I'm going to come across another twin because there's quite a few twins. Um, I always know when I'm going to come across another twin because I can feel it. Like several weeks back, maybe a couple months. Couple months back, I totally was like, "Oh, hey, hey, another twin is coming," you know. um, I don't know why I did that, but I was just like, "Good God, another twin is coming," and I actually did find another one. Our paths crossed during like a workshop experience. And, they're not interested in me romantically at all. Um, yeah, it's interesting. We actually message here and there. I haven't said that, "Hey, you're a twin," because that would be weird. That would just be weird. And plus, I don't think he subscribes to any of the spiritual stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a very fascinating type of connection you can have with people. How many twins and how many can you come across in a lifetime? That depends on the person. That just really depends on the person. To date, I've come across a twin ray, and I want to say I've come across like 4 or 5 twin flames. None of them are romantic. Yeah, none of them are romantic, but I've come across quite a few. Quite a few. Maybe maybe I'll bring one of them on sometime. None of them are interested in being publicly associated. One of my Oh my god, I just gotta leave that alone. I don't think they're interested in being publicly associated. I wouldn't be either. For quite a few of them, they've seen the cluster fluff that I've lived through as people come to terms with the fact that I'm not gonna be disappearing. I'm not going to no longer live stream and stuff. And some people be having tantrums over that, and I'm just like, "I don't think you wanna be a part of that." So, Um, yeah, no, there's more than one twin flame. There's more than one. Absolutely. There's more than one. To date, I haven't been able to convince Michael I haven't been able to convince Michael to co-sign my belief that there's more than one twin ray. So, you know, um, Imma just leave it at that. It's time for me to get ready and go ahead and prepare to do our exclusive chat. um, so for the Soul Sanctuary Love membership, not membership, members area, um, you'll see for people who are part of that, you will see the link. I'm going to post it in a minute or two. And then if you're trying to join, we are having issues with our payment processor. And I might just go ahead and connect my Emmie Evolving processor to that website just so that we can get that going. And then once I have all of my other processor kind of fixed, then we can reconnect that and I'll just figure out the logistics. I know quite a few people have been trying to join. I'm very, very sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Um, Not today, Satan. No, it's been blocking people from joining, from establishing a recurring contribution. For people who are already signed up, that's no problem. It's still processing perfectly fine. For people who are trying to sign up, it's blocking it. Bastards. We'll figure it out. I'll try and get that situated right now. And then, you know, if that's situated, you can then just enter right when you set up your recurring contribution. Okay, I'm very sorry, guys. I'll fix that right now. And meet me there at 8:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be going live to do the Dear Emmie exclusive talk. Arm yourself with questions. I would be more than happy to answer anything and everything. Y'all got me privately for some time. So I'll see you guys there. Bye, everyone. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live for all of my recurring contribution ministry members. Join me over there in a few minutes, okay? Bye, everyone.